Okay, today we have a fan favorite loved by many, possibly loved by all, and this is a request from a subscriber. This is from Arctic6676, my boy Aiden. He wants me to talk about Gengar. And goodness, dude, Gengar has some sweet cards out there. I wish I had more. Um, Before looking through my collection and considering this Pokemon, I honestly wasn't the biggest Gengar fan. It's it has a similar fan base to Charizard in that it's like one of the top Pokemon for a lot of people, and a lot of the times I don't like choosing or favoriting some of those favorite Pokemon, but Gengar has grown on me. Gengar is one sweet dog, and today I got some sweet cards to talk to you guys about. The first, well, okay, if you don't know what Gengar looks like, then I don't even know if I should explain it. I feel like I'm going to misrepresent this guy and I might get some nasty comments or something. But he is a purple ghost dude. Um oh goodness. He almost looks like a hedgehog. Like a hedgehog with cat ears, and he has the cat bus face from Studio Ghibli, and he has these pink eyes that are turned downward. So he looks like he's plotting, like he's always scheming. He's always trying to do like trickster stuff, always trying to get a fright out of people. And he's very purple. And that's probably all I'm going to say about him. If I say anything more, I'm going to butcher it. But he's cool. He's very cool. The first card I have today is from 1998, when I love looking at these old cards, especially stuff like this. So this Gengar is a Stage 2. It evolves from Haunter. This card says to put Gengar on the Stage 1 card. And this Gengar only has 80 HP. For a Stage 2, that is nothing. Today we're looking at 330 HP for an EX, but I mean, even so, you can see like we had Torterra back in Brilliant Stars. He's like 190 HP, I want to say, for a Stage 2. So yeah, this Gengar ain't got nothing on standard Pokemon. So Gengar is a Shadow Pokemon. Its length is 4 feet and 11 inches, and it weighs 89 pounds, somehow, as a ghost type. This card has the Pokemon power... Oh, well, it's a Psychic type. You know, even though it's a ghost, in the cards, Ghost is combined with Psychic. So this Gengar has the Pokemon power called Curse. It says, once during your turn, before you attack, you may move one damage counter from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another, even if it would knock out the other Pokemon. This power can't be used if Gengar is asleep, confused, or paralyzed. Then it has one attack called Dark Mind. For 3 Psychic Energy, it does 30 damage, which is absolutely nothing. It says if your opponent has any bench Pokemon, choose one of them, and this attack does 10 damage to it. So I guess it does 40. Goodness. Curse, I have seen this quote-unquote Pokemon power, now ability. I have seen it being used now. I think I want to say Meowstic maybe has it. That might be on your own Pokemon. I'm not sure. I do know that one card that's being played a lot is the Radiant Alakazam, and it's busted because it's a basic, and it has this curse ability, except for you can move 2 damage counters. So instead of just moving 1, instead of moving like 10 damage, you get to move 20, which is a lot more. And Dark Mind, yikes, dude. 3 Psychic Energy. There's no way for you to accelerate it. You're only doing 30 damage and 10 to a bench. Oof. That's pretty bad. I mean, sure, you can move some damage around, but like, in the grand scheme of things, you're really not taking 3 turns to power up something. Yeah. Now, maybe I'm dogging on it, but I've watched some like old format stuff, and thank goodness I didn't play back then, because the format looks so bad compared to what we have today. But maybe if I did, then I would be busting out a Gengar deck that just gets clapped by stuff. This Gengar has no weakness, which is really cool to see. It has a resistance to fighting for -30 and a 1 retreat cost. The flavor text says, under a full moon, this Pokemon likes to mimic the shadows of people and laugh at their fright. And then it says level 38, number 94. That's a cool flavor text. It reminds me of like Peter Pan, and how his shadow like mimics him, kind of messes around with him. And to imagine like a Gengar doing that to you, I mean, it could be scary. Like, imagine you're walking down like an alleyway and you think that you're the only person there, but lo and behold, there's a Gengar messing around with your shadows, making you think that someone's like coming up on you, or could be really anything. If I was Gengar, that would be pretty fun, just scaring people just for the laugh. Now, the artist for this one is Keiji Kinebuchi, and it's a pretty sweet looking art. You don't see this a lot, especially in the older cards, but this Pokemon is actually 3D. And in 1998, you can only imagine how good those 3D Pokemon looked like. This guy looks like he was carved out of crayons, and his teeth look like metal bars, and he's just standing there, and that's it. There's a shadow coming off of the right side of the Gengar, and then the background is just it almost looks like you're going down like a orangish brownish tube, and this Gengar is just in front of you. It has that kind of effect where the lines of the tube are coming out of the Gengar. And that's about it. He's just posed up. It's kind of cool looking. It's very different. You don't see a lot of this nowadays. And it's retro. Retro cards have just that special look to them that a lot of artists, this might even be just like the Pokemon Company, they don't really pull from or use. And honestly, it's a bummer, because old art slaps, and I think that with the Pokemon 151 set that just came out, honestly, it was a missed opportunity. They could have pulled from maybe not using like the same art like they did with XY Evolutions, but they could have done like inspirational stuff, or gone back to using just physical mediums or just old tech for their computer generated images, instead of whatever the hell they did now. Yeah, that Gengar is pretty cool. The next one I have is from 2007, so we're going up quite a bit. I couldn't find any like e-reader or older Gengars, so this is what I got. This Gengar has this guy's level 39, so it's one more level than the last one, and has 110 HP, and it is still a psychic type, so it's getting a little bit of a buff. Has 2 attacks. The first attack is called Life Drain. For 1 colorless energy, it says flip a coin. If heads, put damage counters on the defending Pokemon until it's 10 HP away from being knocked out. And then it has the Shadow Dance attack. For 2 psychic and a colorless, it says put 4 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like, then switch Gengar with one of your bench Pokemon. Dude, this card slaps. I don't care if you hate flipping coins. Dude, you're getting put down to 10 HP at some point during the game. Life Drain's sweet. You see it a lot with like there was Eradicate that came out that has Life Drain. We got Shed Ninja, and none of these decks have had. I think Raticate had some success with Aridos and Poison, but I haven't seen anything this old, Life Drain, being used this old. And if I'm wrong, put it in the comments. Let me know. Is there any cards out there that do this that are even older than 2007? And then Shadow Dance, it's not the best. I mean, it does 10 more damage than Dark Mind, but you can put that damage anywhere. So you can set up the knockout with like Life Drain. But the coolest thing is you get to switch Gengar with one of your bench Pokemon. So it's a hit and run attack. You don't see that a lot. And having a hit and run attack is so it opens up the play for like so many crazy opportunities that you can do. That you could be cooking with this card. It can be pretty gas. The weakness for this Gengar is Darkness at plus 30. The resistance is normal at minus 20 and has 1 retreat cost. Pokemon went through a weird normal resistance phase, which makes a little bit of sense. Ghost types can't be affected by normal type attacks in the games, so I guess you could put it on the cards. I think it's pretty cool. Then its flavor text says, it hides in shadows. It is said that if Gengar is hiding, it cools the area by nearly 10 degrees Fahrenheit. That is really cool. But sounds absolutely terrible. It honestly might reference some haunting stuff. Because one of the things that ghost hunters find is when there's a ghost around. Oh, it's the cold air here, bro. That's just a Gengar, bro. But 10 degrees, that is quite the drastic difference. That's enough to go from cold to freezing real quick. And I feel like people would abuse that. Bruh, putting my Gengar, I don't have a fridge no more because I got 3 Gengars and they're all chilling this one spot in the room by 30 degrees, just kind of a weird, it's weird when Pokemon goes out of the way to give very specific numbers in the flavor text, and this is just one of those examples. It's fun though. Okay, the artist on this Gengar card is Kagemaru Himeno, and this Gengar is pretty cool. He has the Gengar maybe doesn't have a lot of character to it. It's just sitting in its basic pose, but the background and the scene that it's in does. The Gengar is sitting on this log or this stump. It looks like a dead stump. The tree's probably been gone for a while. And it's nighttime, and there are some dead trees in the background. And let me see. It might be snow. I can't really tell. But you just have these silhouettes of trees in the background. But the sky is just so well done. The artist took their time to make this aquamarine sky, but it has these ups and downs similar to what you would see in galaxy photos of the darker aquamarine to lighter. So you have a lot of differences in colors in the sky. So you have your dark aquamarine to your lighter, and then it even goes into a lighter violet into a darker violet, and that kind of it kind of repeats itself. So it happens twice, that change in color. But also scattered throughout the sky is a bunch of stars. So you see a bunch of little white dots here and there, and then a couple of these stars have the star shining cross on them. And by golly, I wish that this card was hollow. I don't know if it is. It can be hollow. It is a rare, so probably. But it would be so pretty to have like a galaxy foil on this Gengar card and to just see all those stars kind of like flicker as you're looking at it. Love it. Really good art. This next Gengar card, he's level 46, so we're going up a little bit. He has 120 HP this time, and he has 2 attacks. First attack is called Sharpshooting. For a Psychic and a Colorless, it says choose one of your opponent's Pokemon. This attack does 40 damage to that Pokemon. Don't apply weakness and resistance for bench Pokemon. Then it has the Poison Jab attack for 60 damage. It for 1 Psychic and 2 Colorless, it says the defending Pokemon is now poisoned. Pretty basic attacks. 40 for Snipe for 2 energies, pretty good. And then Poison Jab does like 70, 60 with Poison, and then, I don't know. I mean, you're 2-shot and stuff. Poison's helping you out. Pretty basic. I like it. It has a Darkness weakness of +10, a resistance to normal of -20, and no retreat cost, which you love to see. And honestly, that should just be how it is with Gengar. You know, it's a ghost type. It can kind of phase through things. Why not give it free retreat? The flavor text says, the leer that floats in darkness belongs to a Gengar, delighting in casting curses on people. Oh, they just did such a good job with the flavor text on these. So much character given to this Pokemon. And this art really does the character well, too. This shows Gengar. He's walking on top of a clay roof, huge grin on his face. He's looking up towards the midnight sky with the moon out, and his arms are not to the side, they're more like outwards. Like he's kind of balancing on this roof. And he just has the biggest grin. His color is honestly a little different too. The previous Gengars have more of like a violet color, while this has a little bit more red to that violet. And the background is really well done. It shows this industrialized city behind it. There is really tall buildings. Everyone has their lights on. It's very dark and green and almost has like a kind of a grime to it as well. And then in the very background, you can kind of tell that it's a windy night because there's leaves blowing around. Plus, there's a bunch of clouds moving. You have the moon in the top right, and then it's there. I guess it's a storm because there is some lightning coming down. And Gengar is just eating this up. He just loves. This is like his total vibe. He's in the zone, and he's just gonna go curse people and have a good time. I like it. It has a lot of character to it. Very good Gengar card. The next Gengar card I have is from 2015. This guy has 130 HP and 2 attacks. The first attack is called Sinister Fog for 1 Psychic. It says, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. Put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Ooh. And then the second attack is called Creep Show. For a Psychic and Colorless, it says if your opponent's active Pokemon has 3 or more damage counters on it, that Pokemon is knocked out. Woohoo! This card, awesome. Very good. I know it's a popular card with people. I think there was a deck out there just because of how powerful that Creep Show is. And I mean, the Sinister Fog does a lot of damage. It's a really good spread attack for cheap cost. Creep Show can just knock out whatever you want. EX, whatever, you know. I like it. This Gengar has a weakness to Dark ×2, resistance to fighting -20, and free retreat. The flavor text says, hiding in people's shadows at night, it absorbs their heat. The chill it causes makes the victims shake. Ooh, very good flavor text. Really, like all of these flavor texts just continue to add on to how creepy and how cold and how sinister this Pokemon really is. And the art is done by Saya Tsuruta, and the art is so freaking cool on this card. It's almost like a pop art. It looks kind of graffiti-esque, but with very defined lines. And it shows Gengar. He is lunging towards you. His right hand is outwards trying to grab you. His left is behind, but also in like a grabbing kind of state. And he has the craziest eyes. His right eye is bulging out. It's very big, and his left eye is more hidden, more closed, but it's still looking directly at you. And the biggest thing that you notice about this Gengar card is that his tongue is out and about. It's huge, man. His tongue is probably big as he is. A little bit smaller. But it's sticking out. It's the same color as his eyes. So it's that like magenta pink color. And it's gross, dude. This guy probably wants to lick you, man. Like, he's got lick-a-tongue action coming out of his mouth. And one of the coolest things about this card, too, is that the background, it's not your usual, like, scenery background. This has almost like a poisonous, like a really dark and evil poison kind of feel to it. It looks like someone splattered a bunch of paint, and it's coming all out of the Gengar. And that paint started as black. It goes to like a dark violet into this hot pink. And all around the Gengar, he's outlined in this very light blue. And in this paint around him, you can see almost that looks like light blue, kind of like splotches as well. And it pops. And this card I have right now is a holo, so it really shows the paint and the blue liner around Gengar really well. Really good card. If you're a Gengar fan, you definitely want to pick this one up. The next Gengar card I have is from 2020. This one has 110 HP, so we went down. Interesting. Probably a reason for that. This Gengar has the ability called Life Shaker. It says, as often as you like during your turn, you may move one damage counter from one of your psychic Pokemon to another of your psychic Pokemon. Then it has the attack Hypnoblast. For a psychic and a colorless, it does 90 damage. It says your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. Life Shaker is really interesting. I'm not sure what you could do with this, but you could definitely build some sort of maybe like healing deck or just some way to pull off damage counters from your Pokemon. I mean, it could be good with Gardevoir EX if somehow this was in standard right now, because you can pull that damage off of your Gardevoir, keep your things like at their max HP. And you could also very easily build up damage on stuff like, I know Drifloon does more damage for each damage counter on it. And Life Shaker would be busted for that. Hypnoblast is pretty good. 90 damage, your two-shot and stuff. Sleep is nothing to scoff at as well. If your opponent flips that Tails and has no switch outs, they're donezo. So I like Hypnoblast. This Gengar has a weakness to darkness of ×2, resistance to fighting -30, and 2 retreat cost. Bro, come on, he's not that big. Like, really? Wait a second. Oh, no, never mind. Wait. Oh, no, 89 pounds. Wait, this guy's 89 pounds? How did I miss that? Okay, Gengar's 89 pounds. I don't know if I said that yet, but I guess this guy is pretty big. The flavor text on Gengar says, on the night of a full moon, its shadows move on their own and laugh. It must be Gengar's doing. Its shadows. Interesting. I wonder if it's talking about like Gengar's shadows or something else. Because that would be weird if Gengar could control its own shadows. But I guess it also makes sense because Gengar can, like, it is a shadow Pokemon, so it can kind of, like, do whatever it wants with the shadows. Interesting. Another thing that they just, like, added on to the lore of Gengar. Very cool. The artist for this card is Eri Yomaki. And it's really cool. It shows Gengar. He's posted up. He's in a similar position as the previous Gengar card with his right hand stretched outward. He's not lunging, but he's like almost casting something towards you. Doesn't have his tongue out, but it's a very wide, very big grin, just like all the other Gengar cards. And this Gengar has this almost like poisonous, hot pink, purplish, violet. It changes colors around it, like poison in the air. Almost like it's casting or about to send out this poisonous, maybe like fog or like tendril or something, like at you. And it's casting it quite a bit. There's some coming out of its left hand, some being controlled by its right. And this Gengar, it looks like it's just in the middle of, I don't know, like the alleyway. It's just posted up on some, just some brick on the ground. There's like a wall behind it and a barrier. It's pretty basic, nothing much for the background of this card. You know, there's some grass growing out from the cracks in the ground. Yeah, nothing much, but has a really good ability, and you know, could see some cool play if you comboed it with Gardevoir EX. The last Gengar card I have is from 2022. This one isn't standard right now. It has 120 HP, and it has the ability called Netherworld Gate. It says, once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in your discard pile, you may put it onto your bench. If you do, put 3 damage counters on this Pokemon. It has the attack Screaming Circle for 1 Psychic. It says, put 2 damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon for each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Okay, this card I already know is seeing some play in Zoroark V-Star. The Netherworld Gate ability is just such a cool ability. You don't see this a lot with Pokemon, like being able to come from your discard pile onto your bench. And this reminds me of the Giratina from the Sun and Moon sets that had a similar ability, but instead it would do damage to your opponent's Pokemon instead of itself. This Gengar, does see play with Zoroark V-Star. It could see play with Mega Gardevoir EX, since that Pokemon discards a lot of your bench Pokemon for more damage. You could just discard a bunch of Gengars, bring them right back, do a bunch more damage. And now that I think about that, I might just build that deck. That sounds sweet. The Screaming Circle attack, it's pretty good. You could do 100 damage for real cheap. And it's damage counters too, so you're not doing base damage. You'll go through basically anything. You can't really block this kind of stuff. This Gengar does have a weakness to darkness of ×2, a fighting resistance of -30, and 2 retreat cost. The flavor text says, possesses potential victims' shadows in an effort to steal away the victims' lives. If your shadow begins to laugh, you must take hold of a protective charm post-haste. Holy crap, dude. Talk about some, like mature stuff in the Pokemon scene. I mean, this Gengar will just straight up kill you, bro. If your shadow is laughing at you, dude, I would be flipping my rocker, man. I would be scared. This guy's dangerous. Gengar, he's cool and all, but he's really sketchy. Like, I feel like I would only really enjoy encountering this Pokemon if I caught it. But if I saw it at any other time, then I would run for my life, knowing what this thing can do. I mean, you probably couldn't even escape, though. I guess just don't go out at night or something like that. The art on this Gengar is really cool. I have the trainer gallery rare, and this art is done by Komayama. Akira Komayama. And it shows the Misfortune sisters from Pokemon Arceus. And Gengar is just chilling with them. You imagine you're like on a camping trip and you got a clothesline with all your clothes on it. Someone is making dinner, so they're chopping up vegetables, and another person is tending to the fire, chopping the wood, and blowing on the fire. And Gengar is just sitting in the middle of this. He's got the biggest smile on. You can see some of his tongue. He's really enjoying himself. Like, the Misfortune Sisters are his group, and he is loving it. He's what would you call it? Thriving right now. And I mean, there's not much else. I could go into detail about, like, some of the clothes are green. There's like green pants and a green shirt. And the person cutting up the vegetables is cutting up like a big onion. But I mean, that's kind of about it. This card does have a lot of detail in it. One of the things I do notice is that one of the Misfortune Sisters actually has one of the old Pokeballs from Pokemon Arceus, so they're sticking with the time period that the games are in, which is really cool. Arceus is like one of the, I would say it's probably one of my all-time favorites. It's one of the Pokemon games I could probably replay once every other year, just because of how different the mechanics are. And I mean, hot take, probably not too much of a hot take though. Arceus is better than anything else that Pokemon has been releasing. Scarlet and Violet suck balls. I repeat, Scarlet and Violet suck balls. It's a little late for that one, but I just had to say it. And this Gengar is just so cool. I imagine this card isn't too much because of how much Pokemon has been printing recently. So if you want just a really good card to go with your Gengar collection, I would pick this one up. There's lots of colors in it. There's a really good story going on in this card. If you're a fan of camping and just being out in the woods surviving, then this is for you too. There's like an axe in here. There's a fire. There's a pot with a bunch of veggies and stuff go over the fire. It's cool. I definitely enjoy this, and I think the Misfortune Sisters are definitely the people for Gengar. I don't remember if they had a Gengar in the games. It would make sense if they did, though. You'll have to let me know in the comments below about that. But that wraps up the Gengar episode. I hope you enjoyed me talking about those cards, and if you want me to talk about anything else, anything that you enjoy yourself, any cards that you collect, let me know, and I'll see if I have them in my collection. Peace.